This is Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerantz. We are joined by Stacy Mungo. She is a member of the Long Beach City Council. What a beautiful city this is. I was just walking along. Is it 2nd Avenue with all those great restaurants? And
yes.
It's really a majestic place. That being said, a tough summer a bit. There's been an uptick in crime.
There has been a small uptick in crime. We're still at 40-year lows, but even one crime is too many. We need parents to pitch in and remind their children to put their bikes away.
Right.
We need people to remember to lock their cars and their doors. It's easy when it's hot out and you don't want to turn on the AC to just leave the windows open. And unfortunately, that makes us easy target.
Some of the crime, though, has been violent crime. We have seen an increase in murder, actually. Still at historic lows, but more than the trends would suggest. Not clear if it's gang related. We're still kind of looking into it. What do you know? What is the city council? What is the police department doing?
So we have a couple of things going on. We don't want to put too much out there of what we're doing because then we would obviously let our criminals know what our strategies are. But we have deployed some additional resources that we feel will be very effective in putting that crime back in its place.
But do we have a sense as to what's happening? Is it a fluke? Are there ethnic tensions between gangs that are percolating? Any ideas?
So within the region, there are. Within the region, we have done an excellent job with gang injunctions. And so certain gangs that have been in their own communities.
For our viewers that don't know, explain gang injunctions.
So gang injunctions are when we know about certain gang activity in certain communities, the district attorney, or in our case, our city prosecutor, put in a gang injunction in the area, and then those criminals who are known to be gang members cannot be in that area. So
they can't assemble.
Correct. And that traditionally has been very effective. And what it has also done is now with Prop 47 and the rollover of our criminals in and out of the system.
Prop 47, of course, reclassified certain lower level offenses to misdemeanors.
Absolutely. So now the amount of time people spend in jail is less and they're getting contact with other criminals. And so they're moving those hotbeds of where they used to hang out more quickly, and so we need to respond.
I have noticed, though, that Long Beach is coming together as a community on this, including faith-based communities, nonprofit communities, police, government. Talk to me about that. It's pretty impressive.
Even this week at council, many of the pastors came out and thanked the community for what we've been doing. Cops can't be everywhere. We need the eyes and ears of the people that live here, the people that work here, the people that pray here to come out and tell us who the people are that are causing these issues so that we can gather the appropriate amount of evidence to make sure that they go away for a very long time.
So you represent the 5th District.
I do.
For our viewers statewide, what is the 5th District, basically?
So the 5th District is from the 405 freeway to the city of Lakewood, and it's from just the other side of the airport to the city of Los Alamitos.
So is it a fairly affluent area, mixed area?
We're a good mix. We are middle class, blue collar workers. A lot of our local teachers, police officers, firefighters from both Long Beach Unified and surrounding areas, Long Beach Police Department and other agencies all reside in Long Beach, and a lot of them in the 5th District. So
I know you recently had your first State of the 5th address.
I did.
Kind of exciting.
It was very exciting.
Mungo, you were ASB president, so you're used to giving speeches, and of course, but be that as it may, tell us about your State of the 5th.
So the State of the 5th was a huge success. I've been to several State of the 5ths of my predecessor. And
who again?
My predecessor was Jerry Shipsky.
Oh, got it. Get it.
And her and I have different styles. She did a very business-oriented meeting in a community room, and I wanted to take it outside into the park. I feel that we want just not the regular person who goes to community meetings all the time. I want every neighbor to know what's going on in their city. And so my goal was to double the number of people that were at the last State of the 5th. There was about 30. And so what we did is we moved it to Pan Am Park.
Beautiful.
We had a band come. The fire department cooked hot dogs for the community. And neighbors interacted with each other, and it was amazing.
But let's talk about your wish to engage and re-engage your community. Look, Long Beach has about 500,000 people in it. This is not a small city.
No.
You have 7 council members, so that means
9.
You have 9 council members. Thank you. So that means you represent about
50,000 people.
50,000 people. More digestible, but still, that's a lot of people.
So I think what we really focus on the council, and I think this is new of this council than anyone else, is that while we are elected from 50,000 people, once elected, we represent everyone.
Do you?
We really do.
It's not a silo mentality.
No. We have to make decisions. The Belmont pool is not in my district, but I'm still a part of that decision because we as a community are going to use that pool. We need to talk about the $400 billion of economic vitality that comes out of the Port of Long Beach. We need to discuss the pros and cons of any major development and what that means to the citizens. We need to make sure that we protect the quality of life and the investment that people make in their homes.
So how do you balance that, which I'm sure you do and work to do every day, with your desire, as you described, to stay in touch with those 50,000, your 50,000 children, if I can use that cliche?
So within my office, I have a person completely dedicated to the 5th District full-time. And then I have another person that's on policy and businesses in the 5th District, because a lot of the businesses that are in the 5th District are in multiple districts.
Right.
You own a Supermex on 2nd Street, you might also own one in the 5th District. That's a case.
Yes.
So we have lots of that. So the business person that does more policy for me spreads across districts. It works from City Hall more often because an issue might be across districts, versus my field deputy who's in the field office 5 days a week helping out with potholes, tree trimming. Anytime that we have anything related to water, we're doing a really good job here of cutting down water waste and helping our residents be better savers. But it takes, if a sprinkler's broken, someone needs to go out there right away and work with the Parks and Rec people or bring the tool and just turn it off.
Can we talk about water for a second?
Sure.
So Long Beach, large city, with some very nice sized lots, some smaller lots, but lots of open space. I would have thought it would be hard for Long Beach to conserve. I would have thought that Long Beach would have a high target set by the State Water Board. I was wrong on both counts. Long Beach has a 16% target, which is fairly low, from 8 to 36%. And I spoke with the head of your water department, Kevin Wattier. I believe you're coming in at 19-20% conservation. Ms. Mungo, what's going right here?
So two or three different things. First and foremost, we started conservation a long time ago. So we've been ahead of the game on this. We've been turning over our medians to reclaimed water. We've been turning over our medians to drought-tolerant plants. We've been looking at what we can do in our parks programs. We've been making those changes over time. This is something that didn't start overnight.
But it's interesting you say that, because for some communities, what happened was they had been doing it for so long that they were already down so much that when the State Water Board started to impose their restrictions, they wound up having to have a higher number because they're already down so much. So it didn't look like they had dropped it from 2013 to 15.
Right.
But it all worked out for Long Beach.
It worked out for Long Beach. We made good investments over time. And I think that to speak really highly of what Kevin and the Board of Water Commissioners did, we just decided that though the Metropolitan Water District will not be able to fund the Lawn to Garden program anymore, Long Beach is going to fund it independently.
I want to talk to you about that. I spoke with Mr. Wattier about that. MWD, a very aggressive program. They put $100 million aside for, like you described, grass to artificial turf. Then another $350 million, and what happened? All gone.
Yes.
All gone. So LADWP, for example, had their own enhancement, but so did Long Beach.
Yes.
And from what Kevin told me, you are keeping that enhancement and increasing it.
We are, to make up the difference.
That's a bold move.
And Kevin even made an even bigger stretch this year. There had been years of residents asking for not just lawn to lawn, but I think we talked about last time I was on your show, I'm sorry, lawn to garden. They wanted lawn to turf.
I see.
And so we're using this 1-year pilot program to actually give people reimbursements on going from grass to artificial turf.
But let me ask you, I mean, again, this is Long Beach. This is, beautiful manicured lawns, beach community. We expect green. And so how are you changing the kind of zeitgeist on the beauty of green?
I think that some neighbors aren't going to get away from that, and that's why the turf program works.
Right.
And those neighbors that are willing to move over to a more garden base, that works. But within this program, you can do both now.
Right.
You can have a few little things of fake grass and a little bit more decomposed granite and garden area.
So you feel as if the pilot is taking off, that the program is going to be adopted in such a way that it can continue into 2016?
I know that when I walk my dog in the community, people always come up to me and ask me about my lawn. It's probably my #1 asked question in my community.
You have one of those special lawns, of course.
I do. I've had one for a long time.
Right. Her name is Stacy Mungo. She is a Long Beach Councilwoman on Bride Palmer's. It's Charter Local Edition.